Hello, my name is David Kane, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 7, Feel It to Heal It Daily Affirmations. Now, we will use these daily affirmations to help build and live a healthy grief recovery journey. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the person who has practiced 10,000 kicks once each. I more fear the person who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." For those of you who did not listen to the episode about the neuroscience of grieving, I would do a very brief summary of the grieving brain now. Our brain builds and holds our life map in our hippocampus. This map is built over a long period of time. It takes a very long time to change this map, especially when someone close to us dies. When we have a very deep loss, our brain is confused and needs to be re-educated on life without our loved one. Dr. O'Connor speaks about us needing to re-educate our brain about this new normal. This education is difficult brain work, and it takes a long time. That is why many of us grievers are always tired. Now, if we view grieving as a type of learning, that may help us accept our grief journey a little easier. And it brings us back to Bruce Lee's comment. What he's actually saying is, he fears a fighter who has trained their hippocampus on how to do a kick by doing it over 10,000 times. So part of how I increased my resilience along my healthy grief recovery journey was to educate my brain, the hippocampus, on the new normal of life without my loved one. And remember, we all grieve differently, so probably we all have our own unique daily affirmation lists. I have a Word document posted on the Sea of Acceptance website with these affirmations, so you can start with these and create your own list if you wish. Now, in the beginning, I read this list at least once a day, and I adjusted the list as I went along, adding, changing, and deleting as needed. So when you see or hear this list, please feel free to take what you want and leave the rest. If I believe something to be true, I started that affirmation with, "I accept." Or if I'm working on it but not quite there yet, I may say something like, "I am working towards accepting." Okay, let's get started, and I'll read the affirmations with a bit of a break in between. I accept that by cultivating these daily affirmations, I can enrich my present moment and set the tone for my day, working towards emotional freedom. I accept that waking up my mind, body, and soul will give me the opportunity to fulfill my higher purpose. I accept that this gives me the ability to face all the challenges with strength, integrity, and a warm heart. I accept that family and friends are key components of my wholeness, happiness, and well-being. I accept that my loved one has died and will not be physically present again. I accept that this loss sent a tsunami of emotions through me, and my grief has infiltrated my stable being. My world has been shaken, and I feel out of control, as if I have emotional vertigo. And this is from the philosopher Seneca. I accept I'm in the early stages of living with the darkness of my grief. My emotions are raw, and I'm staring into the abyss of the unknown future. I accept that I've been cast into an unimaginable crisis, with no skills and no effective tools to understand where I am or what to do next. I accept that I live in a grief-illiterate world, full of grief phobia. From Andrea Warnick, Sick Kids, Toronto Hospital. I accept that many people around me don't understand my grief, and when they witness my grief, they can be uncomfortable, as it's counter to our positive, happy society veneer. From David Kennedy, Hospice, Peterborough. I accept that grief can be the strongest human emotion, and when not dealt with, can accumulate and can show up negatively in our present moment. I accept that for now, my world no longer feels solid, safe, or secure. I accept that if I ignore grief and stick it in my can of worms, over time, this may generate additional grief. I accept that while my grief may be invisible to others, it's anything but invisible to me. From David Kennedy, Hospice, Peterborough. I accept that the grief tools I received growing up don't work for me. I need to reach out and find new and effective tools by taking a grief recovery workshop. I accept the things that I cannot change and will change the things that I can and will grow to understand the difference. I will work hard at willingly accepting what is outside of my control. I accept that while I may have been a victim of my circumstances that caused this great loss, I will work hard to not feel or act like a victim. I accept that it is okay to soften my guilty feelings and move them towards feelings of regret. I accept that these affirmations are one of the tools I'll call upon to take some control of this out-of-control grief situation I find myself in. I accept that the best way out of this pain is through this pain, and I have to feel it to heal it. This one's important enough to repeat. I accept that the best way out of this pain is through this pain, and I have to feel it to heal it. I accept that it's okay to find moments of joy along my grief journey. In fact, it's a healthy thing to do. It's called the dual process model of grieving, where we oscillate between loss-oriented work and restorative-oriented work. I accept that it's best for me not to grieve alone. In fact, I will build a small team of family and friends to help me witness my journey. And this is counter to the first myth, which was to grieve alone. I accept that keeping space in every day for reflection or any other heart work that shows up is a healthy idea. This is a reverse of the sixth myth, just stay busy. I accept that I am a changing, stumbling, growing member of the human race. I accept that this is not some fairy tale where the hero comes in and saves us. I am a complicated, imperfect being doing my best. We're all in this together. I accept that I am mortal, and I have a finite amount of time left on this earth, and I will not simply run out the clock. Death is one prophecy that never fails. Philosopher Seneca. I accept that as I'm rebuilding my life, a new life, time should be dedicated to refine who I am and what is my purpose with those remaining breaths. I accept that my life is like a dog leashed to a moving cart. The direction of the cart will determine where I go. There's enough length in the leash for me to explore and determine the pace, but ultimately I go where the cart drags me. The more I cheerfully accept this, the easier life will be. From Marcus Aurelius. I accept that I wish to strive towards emotional freedom, feeling what I feel when I feel it. I accept that I am trying to do this difficult thing of living and dying as well as I can. And to do this, I must remember that what I've learned from the wise words I've been given. From philosopher Epictetus. I accept that I am enough, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, right here, right now. I accept that many of the answers lie within me. I accept that I'm learning what is best for me, and I love myself unconditionally. I accept it's important for me to take closer care of my inner stories as they create my outer life. I accept that I am solely responsible for my own physical and mental health, and I have the free will and power to change and to transform how I think, how I feel, and how I act. I accept that I ask a lot from my body, and my body asks a lot from me. I accept that I ask a lot from my mind, and my mind asks a lot from me. I accept that what I focus on grows, and my reality depends on where I place my attention, and my thoughts create my reality, so I choose my thoughts wisely. I accept that those thoughts always lead to words, and words always lead to actions. I accept that to realize one's destiny is one of our key obligations. From The Alchemist. I accept that where I spend my attention is where I spend my life. I accept that what I practice, I perfect. I accept that when I change what I believe, I change what I do. And I learned this from Ha in Who Moved My Cheese. I accept that I become the sum of my actions, and impulses flow from my actions, reflecting the actions I've taken, so I choose my actions wisely. I accept that at this time I may have bouts of feeling angry. I am my anger. It's like a blazing flame that burns up my self-control and causes me to say and do things I regret later. As I journey forward and find the absence of anger, it will be the basis of my real happiness and the basis of my love and compassion. From philosopher Seneca. I accept that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to be harmed. I accept that being adaptable and flexible makes me more resilient and unstoppable. I accept that long-term regrets make me old, and long-term bitterness poisons the people around me. I accept that it isn't what happens to me that matters, but more so what I do with what happens to me. I accept that where I am now is preparing and leading me to a higher reality. I accept that understanding and practicing impermanence will help me release the pain of loss. I accept that if I care what other people think of me, I will always be their prisoner. The Four Agreements, Toltec philosophy. I accept this journey and look forward to building my resilience so I can become more pragmatic and adaptable. I'm working towards being able to do what I need to do anywhere, anytime. And the best place to do this work is right here and right now. I accept that the foundation of my happiness is mindfulness. I accept that all the worrying in the world doesn't prevent death. It prevents life. I accept that if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? I accept there's almost no situation in which hatred helps, and I'll try to never hate a hater. I accept that almost every situation is made better by love, compassion, understanding, and appreciation, even situations in which I am in opposition to somebody. I accept that I've been made by nature for the purpose of working with others. I accept that people are depending on me and my purpose. I accept that happiness looks great on me and radiates to those around me. That's from Tremaine Cato. I accept that I wish my journey to take me back to a place where I can dream again. I accept what is. I accept that I am okay and I will be okay. I accept. So now that you've heard the affirmation list, it's time for you to do the DIY or the do-it-yourself part of this episode. So you can always get a copy of the list from my website and start to build your own affirmation list. And may I suggest you start slow and build from there, because grief recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're brand new at this and you haven't done a workshop, maybe start with all the yellow and maybe as many of the blue as you like, and then start with one or two of the green, the grief affirmations. And pick one that you know you're working on and one that you wish to work on in the near future. And start there. And after a while, when you're comfortable, you can add to it. And remember, you can make your own up. You don't have to use mine. You can use mine, you can modify mine, or create your own brand new ones. And I've been doing the blue affirmations for years. And I just added the green ones last year when I started to grieve. So it's a healthy thing, even if you're not grieving, to talk about some of the things like accepting what is and what you focus on grows, just to keep your mind in a good state. So when I first started grieving last year, I would read my list, and the green ones grew over time, but I would read my list every morning, and then in the evening I'd read the yellow and the blue part and leave out the green, so that I didn't go to bed thinking about grief, but I was thinking about the positivism of some of those affirmations. And again, the goal here is to rebuild the map in our hippocampus as to the new normal. And I hope you see the benefit in trying this, and try it for a while and see if it resonates with you. And if you happen to come up with some good affirmations that I didn't think of, feel free to email them to info@seaofacceptance.com. And what I'll do is I'll keep the Word document active on the website, and I'll set a section at the bottom of it for new affirmations from anonymous grievers, so that the whole community can make this a living and growing document. And please feel free to reach out at info@seaofacceptance.com to give me any comments after you've been doing this for a while. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.